Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is Monte Monash. Welcome.
Hi, Krylios. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Certainly, it is our pleasure. And what we like to do here on the Team Racing YouTube channel is always to have our guests start out by giving, an introduction to our audience and letting them know a little bit about your background and experience. So let's start with that.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to be here. And I just want to share a little bit about myself. My name is Monte Monash. I am a native Washingtonian, and for 21 years, my husband and I have lived in AU Park. We have two sons, and we also have a dog, Jackson. And I've owned a business for about 15 years, and I'm proud of the work I've done with more than a dozen DC government agencies. DC is a great place to live and do business. And on the other side of this pandemic, the future of Ward 3 and citywide has to be reimagined with smart growth development, incentives for businesses, and increased housing stock for affordable two to three bedroom units for families that can to continue to grow and be in an inclusive, connected, and communal manner. I pride myself on being an advocate for change, a strong collaborator, and hearing every person's voice. As the next Ward 3 council member, I want to work to foster more inviting, a more inclusive, safe, and convenient place to live.
Awesome, awesome. And as you just pointed out, you are running for that Ward 3 Council of the District of Columbia seat. So let's what was it about this time or this election cycle that really made you want to throw your hat in the ring and get involved and represent people, in that type of way?
Yes, great question. And I'm sure that, with nine of us in the race, that's been the burning question for many of the voters to hear the answer to. So with Ward 3, it's changing so much, just like the rest of the city. DC is facing new challenges brought on by the pandemic. We've had racial injustice throughout the country, and we also have economic inequalities. And we just can't accept the status quo. And so my candidacy is about not accepting the status quo. And I believe I'm qualified to represent Ward 3 because I'm a small business owner who's worked with mayors and governors for over 20 years to make city services work better for constituents. In my line of work, I've worked with DC government agencies and other state and local governments. I've learned to listen first, build trust, and find solutions that respond to constituents' needs. That's the approach I'll bring to Ward 3 as a council member, an open door with responsive solutions. And I'm running to focus on public safety, to support mayoral control over schools, to create space for every child to learn and thrive, to build housing that residents of all income and ages can afford, to make our economy more competitive, to update our transportation networks and aging infrastructure, to do our best to do our part, sorry, not just our best, but to do our part to meet the 2032 clean energy goals and to focus on supporting our seniors.
Oh, I love that. Now, right now, I'm going to ask you to pick two of those and, kind of delve deep into it, let me know about those challenges that, you really want to tackle if elected to the council. So any of them that you just mentioned, you can just delve into.
Well, sure. My first love is always infrastructure, so I'll talk about that a little bit. I think that we should have free bus passes for all seniors and also all students that are living in the District of Columbia, not the DCPS, not only just DCPS students, but all students that are living in DC city residents. So making sure that they have free bus passes, I think that will help get people out of cars and into our public transportation. Also to connect our bike lanes, emphasize the installation and maintenance of protected bike lanes, to expand our bus network, and also to explore public parking options. Investing in our age infrastructure is going to be very important as we move through these next few years with all the infrastructure dollars that will be coming our way through the Build Back Better bill. Also, the last thing in the transportation infrastructure space is to focus on traffic enforcement. There's a lot of distracted drivers out there, and we want to keep our roads safe for bikes and cars and pedestrians. The second thing I'd like to talk about is really schools. Schools for Ward 3 has been a hot conversation, somewhat prickly at times, but I really do want to make sure that it's important that it's known that I support mayoral control of our schools, keeping it current to what we have right now. When I was growing up, my mother worked 3 jobs, my father worked a job, my stepfather worked a job, and with the 5 incomes, we could barely afford to send me to a private school, a private Catholic school. And I attended public schools before that from, pre-K through 4th grade. And it was important that my parents sacrificed in that way because the schools were really in disrepair. And so that mayoral control has been a game changer for the system that we have now. We'll continue to do better. And as a council person, of course, oversight over that will be quite important for me. Supporting both traditional public and charter schools to maintain a level of maintenance in the facilities that our children are learning in is going to be important. I also support identifying the new school site that we have in the Ward 3 sector I'm sorry, Krylios, I messed up here. Can I do an edit?
Oh no, you can go ahead. You don't be nervous. We're just
Okay, I'm
talking. We're
so
just nervous.
sorry.
So go ahead. Yeah.
I was thinking Forest Hills, but it's really Foxhall Village.
Okay,
In
good.
the Foxhall Village area of Ward 3, the lower GDS site. And so making that site location accommodate not only Ward 3 residents, but also students from all over the district that will be coming there. So that means that we have to have our network of transportation and other development in that area to make sure that there's something for children to do before school and after school, and also the way for them to get there. Not only am I interested in that particular school site, but looking at other site locations throughout the ward that will be appropriate for either a public school, a traditional public school, or a charter school to come into our ward as well. And we need to make sure that we have funding to support expanded services for students with learning differences. We also have to have funding for teacher training and development. We need to expand that for the retention of our teachers and also for the growth of our teachers. And I also truly believe in dual enrollment programs for high school students so that they can get exposed to and go into industry, and also it gives them a pathway to college. And the
Yes.
last thing is support job readiness after school programs for high school students in partnership with industry, as well as with, we have our DC Infrastructure Academy. So those are different ways to expose high school students to jobs outside of school. And that's it.
Certainly. Well, you're going to be, if elected, you'll be representing Ward 3. So let us know, what is one of your favorite things about Ward 3?
Oh, I really love the tree-lined streets, and that's throughout the district, but Ward 3 has some beautiful trails. We have, parks, and we have some wonderful heritage trees here in the city. So that tree canopy is just special to me.
Love that. That's a good one. So let everyone know why, out of all these people, running for the specific Ward 3 seat, why you are the best choice for voters come this election season.
Great, thank you. Well, first of all, I believe that, as a point of legislation, I think that the first thing I would love to do is to ban all plastic bottles. I think that will contribute to the health and the global community that we all live in, reducing and getting rid of that plastic bottle footprint from Washington, D.C. would be wonderful for us to kind of lean into, and for me to shepherd as a leader. But for best choice in that answer, as a parent raising 2 school-age boys, with a family, going to DC public schools as well as to one independent school, that gives me perspective in that area. As a business owner, understanding the real world challenges on how to do business in the District of Columbia, and also in how it relates to this region, how it relates in comparison to this region. is a perspective that I would bring as a council person. Also, my experience working with state and local governments. I've been doing this for more than 20 years, not just here in the District of Columbia, but I have worked in all kinds of state and local government structures, and that really gives a different perspective as well, as to experience and understanding some of the best practices and understanding how things work in other places and how we can glean that information and bring it to the District of Columbia to do our best work here. And finally, as a community and civic leader, having been the chair of the DC Public Library System, I stepped down to do that, to do this as a candidate. So having been the chair of the DC Public Library System gives me a great perspective on, operating and running a major system within our DC government, as well as being the vice chair of Friendship Place, which is a homelessness organization, looking at how we can, do something real in our community to make sure that we're affecting change that meets the needs of our most vulnerable in our city. So that was a very important part of my service. Being a board member of Seabury, which is an aging resources organization here in the district where we offer.
I enjoy
Yes.
Steve. We just talked with them yesterday
Oh,
here on this channel. Yeah, so that's
oh,
great.
great. Don Quebelbaum and the team. They're fabulous. All the things that we're doing within the community, as with transportation, with resource programming, as well as the affordable housing that we're offering throughout the region, not just in the district, but we're doing it in Maryland as well. So it's really a joy to be on that, and a quite a privilege and an honor. And then finally, having my co-chair position at the the Skyland Workforce Center, which is in Ward 7. So, being a Ward 3 resident doesn't mean that I'm on an island. And so spreading myself out and giving myself to other parts of the city has been an important feature of who I am and a perspective that I would bring to the council as well.
Thanks so much for sharing. So when can, I just want other viewers to be aware. So when does voting begin in DC?
So we have lots of ways to vote here in DC, so there is no excuse. Please vote. You can start by, the ballots come home on May 16th. And so they will come to your house and you'll be able to vote from your home. We also have mail drop boxes that will be put out at the DC Public Library sites and maybe some other site locations throughout the city, starting May 27th. And then early voting begins June 10th through the 19th. You can go to site locations identified that will be announced throughout the ward, and you can go there and vote. And then finally, the primary election day is on June 21st. So pretty soon we'll find out where we are on the ballot. You'll be able to choose my name, Monte Monash, on any of those dates, but just vote once and make sure you vote. Thank you. Just vote once.
Certainly. Well, I want to remind all our viewers that to keep those dates in mind and register to vote before those dates and keep those deadlines in mind. So, of course, you can go to headcount.org to check your voter registration status, pledge to vote, and register to vote. Once again, that is headcount.org. Now, Monte, how can people find out more about you, find out more about your campaign, follow you, keep up with you, support, and donate if they so please?
Oh, I appreciate you offering me that opportunity to share. So I do have a website. It is monash4ward3.com. It's Monash, MONASH, for ward3.com. That's the first place to go. I also have a Twitter account, which is at Monte Monash. I have an Instagram account also. And so you can follow me. All those links are on my website. And we are putting up a Facebook account, which, I hadn't had a Facebook account in a while, but you have to have
Same.
So we're putting up a Facebook account. So that link will be on my website as well to get you there very easily.
Awesome. And we're going to have that link, the link to the website, in the description below so that our viewers can go ahead and check out your website and get access to, all the social media and everything else that is available there. So viewers, the link will be in the description below. Monte, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been such a pleasure getting to chat with you and getting to learn more about you and how you want to make your impact on our fair district. Thanks so much for being here. Such a pleasure. Thank you so much. And best of luck on your campaign.
Oh, you're wonderful. Thank you so much. I enjoyed the time with you.
Thank you. Those watching, please follow Team Racine Productions at Team Racine on all forms of social media and click around our YouTube channel. Check out our other candidate interviews, other interviews with other people, vlogs and panels. But most of all, please like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.